Being well adjusted to a sick society is not a good measure of health. Being well adjusted to a sick society is not a good measure of health. I've heard that quote many times. I think it might have been Gabor Mate, Gandhi, maybe even Martin Luther King, or my mum, depends. But I've heard it many times and it really resonates with me, and I'm sure it resonates with you too. Because deep down, I think we fundamentally know that something is not right. We might not be able to logically explain it, but emotionally, we know within our center that something is not right. I feel like as a species, we have become human atypical. What does that mean? It means we've gone against our very own nature of what it means to be human, favoring consumption over connection, surviving over thriving. We've lost what it means to be human. What kind of life is this? You see, you can opt out. But before you opt out, you need to understand how I opted out, how me and my wife opted out of this situation. Let me take you back to 4 years ago, 2022. My wife, as per usual, interrupted me. But this time, it was a good interruption. I wasn't as annoyed. She said, "Look at this." And as I looked at the phone, it completely blew my mind what I saw. I saw people living in a way that was so foreign to me. Pet sitters, full-time pet sitters. And my wife jokingly said, "Maybe we should do this." And I was so naive and I was so ignorant at the time that I jokingly went along with it. And we started off gently. Monday to Friday, we were living in our rental flat in London, and Saturday, Sunday, we would look after other people's animals. It was a great way to see the UK. And after a few months had passed, my wife mentioned to me, maybe we should do this full time. And honestly, I thought she was crazy at the time, but I was equally crazy. I thought, what have we got to lose? If it doesn't work out, all that's going to happen is we go back to renting. And I know that feeling of when you get your paycheck in London and the very next day you see your paycheck, half of your paycheck go into your rent for your landlord. I knew that this was not the way that I wanted to live. This was not sustainable. We were hardly saving anything, pennies at the end of the month. Something did not feel right. We did not want to be well adjusted to a sick society. So we did something about it. And I'm glad we did something about it. We opted out. You can opt out too. 4 years later, here we are, still pet sitting. Full time, not renting anymore. We love it. But it's not been easy because you see, I might not pay rent or have a mortgage, but I guarantee I've picked up more animal poo than you have in your lifetime. So it all balances out in the end. But here we are, 4 years later, still doing what we love. You see, the solution, and I don't have a magic solution for you. And if you want to click off the video at this point and find that magic solution, feel free to. But if you want some truth, stick around. I don't have a magic solution. But what I can tell you is that it's about finding out what you don't want and running in the opposite direction. It's not going to happen overnight. This is not an Amazon parcel that's going to be delivered to you. This is going to take time, years even. But it's that daily commitment of figuring out what is it that I don't want and running in the opposite direction. Because I've been where you are, surviving, not really thriving, frustrated at society, that this is not the way I want to be living. But you see, we can't control the whole pizza. We can't change the whole pizza. We can only control our own slice, our little slice of society. So rather than feeling stuck and getting stuck, how can you change your own slice? What can you do today to take control of your situation? And there are many ways to take control. You don't have to do pet sitting. I see and read about people living in vans, customizing their cars so that they can live in them. Or living with, I even saw this one thing about someone living with an older person so that they could look after them for 10 hours a week and pay reduced rent. You can't change or control the whole of society. You are but one person, but you can change your corner of the world. Because to be well adjusted to a sick society is not a good measure of health. You need to decide what your measure of health is. And for me and my wife, it wasn't about living paycheck to paycheck, putting all our money into rent. Our values, our philosophy of life had become more than that. It was about figuring out what we wanted and what we value, which is freedom of movement, the ability to not be tied down in one place, the ability to move as and when you wish. That is what we valued. So what is your philosophy of life? What is it that you don't want in life? And how can you start running in the opposite direction day by day? Let me know in the video, in the comments, what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with. We don't have to agree on everything. Let me know what you liked, what you hated, and leave a like or even leave a dislike if you want to. But just remember, my name's Neil Speaks. I read, I speak, and I share things. So if you found value in this video and you want to stay tuned for the next video, make sure you subscribe to the channel.